The Nigerian political journey seems to revolve around the 2027 general elections, with politicians putting their axes together and finishing touches. But a question that begs for answer. The party, talking about the APC ruling party, seems to collapse any other oppositions in the country, with the allegedly saying politicians are defecting to the ruling All Progressive Congress. Is that healthy for Nigeria's political journey? Hello there. Thank you for joining us on Political Affairs on Kama TV. My name is Chris Jacobs, and I've been joined by Honorable Tom Garba, who joins me to further the conversation. Tom, it's a pleasure to have you on Political Affairs today.
The pleasure is mine, Mr. Chris.
Indeed.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Now, I'd like to start by asking you this question. I haven't set the premise for the conversation properly.
Yeah.
With the recent political development in Nigeria, how would you describe the journey so far, right from 1999 and culminating into the last election, 2023 general election?
Yeah, one would say from 1999 to date, it is a journey to say so far so good in one aspect of our democracy. Then in the other aspect of democracy, we tend to say that it has never been faring well, or it has not fared well, for obvious reasons, because of leadership issues, leadership defects. But democracy per se, the growth of it in Nigeria from 1999, it is to say so good. If judging or taking you backward, you started how we got our independence in 1960 down to 66, 79, the Shagaris, down to Third and Fourth Republic. You understand that we had at least grown. We had grown because there was no any blockage or intervention of coup from 1960 to 99. But from 99 to date, at least we have a steady democracy growth. In that sense, we have grown.
There was no obstruction.
There was never like obstruction, or there was never like military juntas here and there, or what we are seeing in other African countries. At least we can say that we've grown.
All right. Some experts will say that the 1993 election, seem to have been the best, incredible, transparent election Nigeria has had so far, ever since Nigeria returned to democratic rule. Talking about the election that, ushered in, supposedly, late MKO Abiola as the winner of the election. But ever since then, elections in Nigeria have been characterized with irregularities, in the sense that most of the results are contested in the court, and the courts seem to be the final arbiter determining the winner of an election. How would you describe this kind of development when it comes to elections in Nigeria?
You see, in every election, there are always people with interest when it comes to the authenticity or the genuinity of that very election. Once you are beaten in election, you will never look at that election as a sincere and free and fair election.
So we don't have good sportsmanship, right?
Even in 1993, the MKOs, yes, it was adjudged the most fairest, the most generally acceptable. But if you recall very well, still in that 1993, there are people that raise up other petitions. Yeah. So the point I'm making, election is rough. You will always have the minority who cry over the doings of the majority. So, but we are looking at the growth of it in the real term and in concrete terms. We will no doubt say that from 1999 today, we have grown to a certain level of saying Nigeria democracy has come to stay. If you take it from 1960 to 1999, you will just adjust it to that we have a steady growth of democracy in all ramifications by all standards. But then the gains of democracy, that is where the issues are. The gains of democracy, the profits of democracy, the benefit of democracy, that is where we now have to put a question, or you ask the question, has it really been translated to an individual growth as a democrat or as a country that is practicing democracy? Has it really grown to the level that one will say, yes, our democracy is paying off? And this is how we have to ask the question, Our hospital, are they working? Our roads, are they tarred? Our water, are they flying and flowing in the taps? Are we getting well with the issue of our per capita income? Our take home home? Even if you are a shoemaker, a shoe shiner, are you faring well? These are what we call the gains of democracy. Is it really been translated good to every Nigerian? Then it is where now we can have to look at it from all angles and look at it whether there is still issues or change that we need to ask for or call on our leaders to do the needful and make sure that our democracy is paying for everyone. Because what we are seeing right at the moment, I want to tell you, my brother, we still have a stunted democracy in the context of the gains that we're supposed to be getting, comparing to other countries.
Interesting. But where the irregularities are, will you blame the system or the politicians involved? Because I come to realize that we have bad losers, just like you affirmed earlier.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, no matter how credible an election seems to be, there are those who never believe they lose election or they have lost election. As a matter of fact, most politicians think they will win whenever they go into contest.
Yeah.
So is it the system or the politicians that have affected, the process of achieving a credible election year in, year out?
I see. I don't think we have the problem with the polity, or we have the problem with the system. The problem is to every individual and Nigerian. We have a problem with who we are as a Nigerian. I as a Nigerian, you as a Nigerian, and other one. The level of our patriotism, the level of who we are as Nigerian, and the faith we have in Nigeria, the trust we have in Nigeria, the confidence we have in Nigeria is down. And it happens from top to bottom, bottom to top. So everyone you see around is not putting Nigeria first. He's putting his personal interest first. So that's why if it comes to election, everyone will go down to his own personal interest, not in the interest of the country. So if everyone will look at it, it's not bad if I contest an election and I lose. Just accept defeat, forge on, be a good team player, be patriotic and support Nigeria. That we need to ensure that the country works, not me benefit, not me or any other person. So what am I saying? The point is straight down to everyone. Let every Nigerian change.
Let every Nigerian change.
When we have a change of mindset, change of orientation, change of the fact that we need this country to work. So when you are now talking of change from every individual, then the polity will work, the system will work. That's why if you see a corrupt act, you expose it. If you see the system is having a problem, is having a defect, you expose it. So let's begin the change with us.
All right. Now, Nigerian democratic system is said to be fashioned after that of the United States, after the similitude of the United States of America.
Yeah.
But I've also understood over time that, okay, apart from the Republican Party, the Democratic, and then, left wing or right wing, as the case may be in the UK, politicians stick to their political parties. And reason being, these political parties are ideologically based. And they hardly can find a series of defections, from either Republican to Democrat or Democrat to Republican. People are so committed religiously to their parties. But here in Nigeria, we've seen quite a number of political bigwigs. The first 4 years, they're in Party A. Tomorrow, you see them in Party B. And obviously, this is as a result of political parties in Nigeria not having a strong ideology. What do you make of the recent defection, apart from the ones that have happened even before now, but the defections we see in recent times is actually a pointer to the 2027 general election. We see a lot of politicians defecting from either Labour Party to the APC, PDP to the APC, other parties to the APC. And the fear of the uncertainty is whether or not the ruling APC under the Tinubu-led administration is trying to collapse the positions in the country. Are you concerned about the mass defection to the ruling All Progressive Party? You are of the APC, isn't it?
Yeah, I am an APC man, APC carry member, the ruling party in this country. But let me respond to one pertinent issue raised. You're trying to compare our politics with that of US, which I want to say that US has over 200 years practicing democracy.
Oh, sure.
And I want to tell you that Republican and democracy is not the only parties in the US.
Yeah.
There are other parties. It means to tell you that there are two ruling parties or one strong parties in America and two or others weak parties. Get it right. Two strong parties in America and other weak.
But it's still existing.
They are existing. So the joy and the interest of the Americans, they stick to party ideologies and party or politics or principles to every individual. If you are not in democracy, you are probably you are in Republican or you are in others, and you remain there and you do what is called politics under the tenets of democracy. In Nigeria, is somehow not like that because currently we still have one strong party and other weak parties. There is no issue of saying APC is trying to swallow other parties. It has been happening in this country. Oh yes, it has.
But not as it were.
I'm coming. It has been happening in this party. Will you tell me that Atiku has not been in other parties?
Oh, sure.
Will you tell me that El-Rufai has never been in any other party? It's only APC. Will you tell me that Tinubu has never been in any other party? Will you tell me that late Buhari has never been in any other party? It is a common nominal thing as far as Nigerian democracy is concerned. But I think what is happening currently, it is the fight of the Titans and the fears of so many in Nigeria when we are planning or moving towards the 2027 election. So many in Nigeria think the current leadership of APC should not come back, which has been a normal thing. Of course, the opposition are always wanting to dislodge the ruling party. While the ruling party are trying to say, look, we are here and we are coming back for a second time. You see, so the fight is this. If you sit down in your own chair and in your own royal home and somebody outside is telling you that, no, I need this your chair and you need to get out. Don't you sit up well? You need to sit up well. You need to at least do all that you can do, that you retain your seat and you remain a royal man. If you are, and if truly you are. So, if the going is going like this, I think there's more to do from the opposition if you really just want to.
All right, if there is more to do from the opposition, the APC came to be 2014 as a result of a coalition.
Oh yes.
That brought in late President Buhari to power, ousting out former President Goodluck Jonathan. And it was a coalition.
Yeah.
You give birth to the APC. But now we also see a coalition, that collapsed into the ADC. And that has generated a lot of concerns, particularly from the ruling APC. Is it that the APC is afraid for the uncertainty of the coalition party of the ADC, whether or not there might be a repeat of what happened, a repeat of 2014 that brought in the APC to power? If the ADC coalition has come to stay, is the APC worried?
Look at the coalition then. Who are the coalition that lost out Goodluck? You can still say that the Buhari, the Tinubus, the El-Rufais, the Atikus, they were the coalition.
But are they different from the people we see today?
I'm coming. So what I'm saying, the coalition of 2014 was more consolidated and formidable than the present coalition under ADC.
How do you mean?
If we look at the number and the kind of politicians then and the kind of politician now, that they are going by the emblem of ADC coalition.
Do you want to say back then in 2014 they were more propagandists, of the ACN?
2014 we have the Tinubus, the Buharis, the Konkosias, the Atikus, and you name all the big politicians. And the Goodluck was only left with few PDP guys and others at the villa, as far as I'm concerned. And even at the point, even those at the villa, they are not working for his interest. He said it. So you see, you know that actually the country needed. Then there was an issue, which I think you were raising it. What was the issue? Insecurity, and they use it for Nigerians to understand that we need change. That was the bottom issue that Nigerians look at that coalition as something
the
as a
APC,
promise for
the
Nigeria.
APC took advantage of the rising case of insecurity. To oust Goodluck Jonathan.
I want to tell you that even without the issue of insecurity, I want to tell you in that 2014, there was no way the coalition would have become a victorious and successful against Goodluck Jonathan, the incoming president. It was because of insecurity. Nigeria revolted. Nigeria went out in mass and they voted against Goodluck Jonathan.
All right, I would like you to catch your breath, but also ponder on this. The budget for INEC for 2027 general election is about 873.97 billion naira. Difference of about 150% compared to that of 2023, when it was 350 billion naira budgeted for INEC. So I'd like you to ponder on it. Do you think with this huge amount budgeted for INEC that coming into about 873.97 billion naira, election could be seamless and void of irregularities? I'd like you to ponder on this so that when we return from this short timer, we will give more emphasis on it. All right, you're watching Political Affairs on Kama TV. We'll take a short break. I'll be back in a moment. And for those of you following the conversation on Facebook page, send your comment, suggestions, and questions to the talking point. We'll be back in a moment. Alright, glad to know you're still there, but if you've just joined us, you're watching Political Affairs on Kama TV. I've been speaking with Honorable Tom Garba. He's an APC stalwart, and of course he has been furthering the conversations regarding democratic journey of Nigeria since 1999 and preparatory to 2027 general elections. And for those of you following the conversation on Facebook page, you can send your comments, suggestions, questions as well to this comment section. Now, before the break, Honorable, I ask you what you make of the budget for INEC for the 2027 general election. They're coming into 873.97 billion naira. That is a huge amount of money.
We're
now,
talking of
the last election, 2023 general election, was said to have been the most expensive elections, since Nigeria returned to independence. Talking about 350 billion naira budgeted for INEC under Mahmoud Yakubu, even though the federal government was able to give them just 320 billion naira as at then. Do you think with this huge amount of budget, Nigeria's elections might be void of irregularities? Because I'm asking these questions. I know you're a journalist also, but journalist and politician now. You have followed the press briefing, series of press briefings of former INEC boss Mahmoud Yakubu, where he emphatically told Nigerians that it is possible to transmit election results electronically using the BVAS. That the BVAS has the capacity and capability to capture you, accredit you, and also transmit results electronically, which the money was budgeted for. But at the end of it, during the collation at the International Conference Center, there was back and forth that there was a glitch. That glitch hampered on the transmission of result, and people were asking questions: why must it be only the collation of presidential election results, while those of state governors and others, the beavers was made use of to transmit the result electronically. But by and large, 873.97 billion to conduct 2027 election. Isn't that huge?
When I look at the figures day before yesterday, which we ran it in our own medium, the TG News, I was asking myself, why this extravagance? Why this unchecked, unconsidered amounts of money to run or to organize election in this country? To me, it is an outrageous amount of money. But I think I'm not holding it brief for INEC. If you look at from in 2023, you look at the dollar rates to date, we consider that we actually really having a weak currency, and every of our expenditure relied on dollar. And remember, whatever you import affects your naira, and virtually everything that this INEC will do, they are buying it outside Nigeria. You can consider the rates or the exchange rate of this money.
But does INEC need to buy more beavers? I know that the budget, out of the huge amount of money, about 300 and something billion, goes for technology, cost staff, and so on and so forth.
There are more to what you think they can do. But I mean, there are beavers, there are vehicles, there are all sorts of system or the kind of machines that they think they will buy, because they might not be using the one they used in 2023. There's going to be a total new facilities. I know they are going to buy, but whatever it is, I'm not only brave for it. But what we are focusing on is that the money is not fair. But my concern is this money the INEC are asking the federal government to give. Will it translate to a very free and fair election? If it will give you a credible election where our international community will now look and say, now for the first time in the history of Nigerian conducting election, for the very first time, at least we will have a very credible and a free and fair election in Nigeria.
All right.
If it can actually give us that credible election, where everybody will look and say, no, this election is okay. I don't need to go to court. I don't need to go and challenge any person for whatever reason. I think I can consent to it for whatever reason, because the CAF conducted a very successful and very free and fair election. I think it's okay. We should give them a benefit of that. But more so, if it is government, and if it's actually this budget is for this assignment, I think the government still have a way of checkmating. The EFCC will still be there and be looking at other aspect of the spending. So I think Nigeria should not worry, but Nigeria should keep an eye to the issue. Will this thing give us a credible election? After the election, we'll now check and say, okay, the monies, did they release judiciously?
Accountability
judiciously use this money that they can be able to account for whatever they've spent.
All right. Now, Honorable Tom Garba, you are set to run for office under the platform of the All Progressive Congress for Kaduna South, right?
Lere West
Constituency. Lere West Constituency. How do you call it?
Lere,
yes. Lere West Constituency of Kaduna South, isn't it?
No. Lere West Constituency is in Kaduna North.
Okay, in Kaduna North. Yeah. Right. All right. Thanks for the correction. But what could have informed the decision for you to run for office? As a journalist, you want to run for office. Lere Constituency, Kaduna North. What could have informed that decision?
Yeah, I'll first of all tell Nigerians that I am in Nigeria. Born, I'm above 18. I can be voted for and vote for. But you ask what informs me to do this. Then when you look at we are rising up, or we dive to an issue of credible leaders, and we're trying to get good leaders that will change the country narrative when it comes to leadership. I felt over the years we actually having some class of people that they don't have business to be politicians, to be parliamentarians, to be governors, to be presidents. They don't have business contest. Some of us, God has made us to be politicians and leaders. Some are business people. You understand? Some are academics. So you find some into furniture, some into showbiz. Some are musicians, some are footballers. So if you look at your wiring, and you look at actually how God made you, you know that God has designed you for this aspect. So I sat down and looked at it. Over the years, like my own constituency, sorry to say, I'm not really trying to say bad of anyone. For third time, we have a lawmaker that could not pass a single resolution, not a bill, not a law, for our constituency.
On the floor of the House.
On the floor.
House of Representatives.
No, State House of
The
Assembly.
State House of Assembly.
For the third time, it's going into 12 years. And here we are, we do not have someone that will pass a resolution for his constituency, talk less of the entire state. So in a way, we already have a leadership defense in that aspect. And this person, but if you ask people closely, they will tell you he's a very sound business person. He runs business to billions, international business. He has sense of business in Kano, Lagos, and whatever. So to me, he would have been a politician in the business circle, touching lives, getting more people employed under his company, because he has no business to be a parliamentarian. So why do we have these kind of people in the circle of our lives?
So could that be the reason why you decide to run for office as a member?
This is the
Kaduna State House of Assembly, later constituency.
Yeah, this is the debate I've seen.
Okay.
I felt we need to get someone to do more for our people.
What do you think you'll be doing that is different from him and from others who have been there before you?
Yeah, before him there were people. And actually I want to tell you, from 1999 to this state like this, we are at lawmakers that have passed bills. We had roads in our communities, we have electricity in our communities, we have waters in our communities. They passed bills that affect our community, and they brought high institutions in our communities. But if we had them and they did this, you know that then when he comes, he would have added up to what they've done. So for my coming now, I would actually want to look at the policies of the government that I will pass bill that will translate to laws that every person in Kaduna State will know that my bill will touch everyone in the aspect of health, the aspect of education. Our people are agrarian in nature, our lands. If you go to my community, there is no any person as young as you are, you see a man or a boy, you find out that that person is farming maize close to 500 bags of maize, 300 bags of maize. Go to some land, you find that. So it's just to have an enabling environment from the government aspect. But if you give them a backup from the government house, you can believe that Lere will be a very sound local government that will produce food, not for Nigeria, in the entire West Africa. Because I know what is coming from that place.
But the support base are the people of your constituency, Lere constituency, looking up to you, to lead them into emancipation.
Yeah, this is why I was convinced that they need change, because they were the one yearning for the change now. They were the one pushing us, people like me. I'm not the only one, other people from the other constituencies of Togo. They say we need change. We can't just send someone for running to 12 years. It cannot just have a bill that will cost our life.
All right, there's no better way to end the conversation than now. I want to wish you well. I want to wish you the best of luck, even as you venture into, these political waters in the context of Nigerian democratic journey.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Tom Garba, and looking forward to seeing more of you again. All right, that's our conversation for today. Viewers, thank you so very much for being with us from start to finish. Join us again same time, same station, as we come with a fresh edition of the program. Until then, stay safe. My name is Chris Jacobs. And for those of you following the conversation on our Facebook page, I need you to send comments, to send your questions, suggestions to the comment section. If possible, you can ask questions, and I bet you Honorable Tom Garba will be very much around to respond to you. God bless Nigeria.